Think of WorldPride as like the Olympics to Pride. 2019 is a special year because we will be hosting WorldPride for the 50th anniversary of Stonewall. We're expecting about 4.5 million people in attendance. 3 experiences, New York City Pride, WorldPride, and Stonewall 50, kind of culminating together to create this one singular moment in time for our community is really going to be magical.
We're having the opening ceremony, which will be held at Barclays in Brooklyn. It'll be the largest ever LGBTQ-focused benefit concert. We then have the closing ceremony for shutting down Times Square. It's going to be kind of a queer New Year's Eve, and it's going to be amazing.
Welcome to the Pride office.
Heritage of Pride is the nonprofit organization behind all of the New York City Pride events since the 80s.
We're in a basement. I think at first it started as just like storage space, but it's a great location in the West Village, right on Christopher Street where the march takes place. So it's a really kind of iconic and historical space. We've had it since the early 90s.
Chris led the rebranding of Heritage of Pride to NYC Pride, a name that has resonated for the past 10 years.
I came out to my mom when I was 17. We had just so happened to stumble upon the New York City Pride March when visiting New York City. And it was this like really pivotal moment where I realized I was part of something much larger than anything I ever anticipated. Overall, sponsorship funding seems strong. We've already met budgeted goal. We'll likely exceed that amount.
We're trying to hire for the Welcome Center manager.
We now have 11 staff in full peak season. All 25 events that you will see this year are essentially created by these 11 people, along with all of our dedicated volunteers and board members.
Oh, gracious.
Oh,
it feels so good.
I know. Oh my God.
This day was never
We
gonna
had
come.
talent.
It's happening. Look at WorldPride.
NYC Pride has grown so much that they're building a new office with a WorldPride Welcome Center.
Good to see you. Happy Friday. Good to see you. Happy Friday.
Stonewall almost kind of serves as a welcome center. I feel like a lot of people that are touring the city, that's like the first stop if you're LGBTQIA.
As we get further and further away from 69, there's fewer and fewer people to talk about what that experience was like. People can come in here, learn a little bit more, stop in, have some history, not have to be 21 to be in. That's, I think, a really exciting advantage for the neighborhood, too.
A 1969 police raid at the bar sparked nearly a week of riots and a gay civil rights revolution.
Once we started to hit the mid-90s, things really started to escalate in the sense that we started to become much, much more visible.
In preparation for the events, the team is receiving media training.
Thank you. Thank all of you for taking some time on a weekend. Part of this is that we have an opportunity. This is a historic moment for our community, and the media coverage is going to be tremendous. Our community is a microcosm of the culture. What brings us together has nothing to do with our age, our race, our political affiliation, our economic background, our ethnicity. Because of WorldPride, we're going to have the opportunity to talk about some of the issues in other countries around the world where being LGBTQ, frankly, is a death sentence.
I actually got my asylum granted here in the United States.
Julian, one of the volunteers, was an activist in Malaysia, their native country, where they experienced hate crimes firsthand.
I was surrounded by 13 police officers. They were mocking me for my gender identity, and one of them actually pointed a gun to my face and told me that he would not hesitate to use it against me.
Now, they're continuing their volunteer work here with a green card.
I oversee a huge operations team. There are about 120 of us on the team. There is a full-time event coordinator, and there's also an event manager. Everyone else is a volunteer.
Anybody that's new to the march this year?
Woo! The number of marchers is expected to double from last year. NYC Pride believes it will be a record with an estimated 150,000.
This year we have our Interpride contingent, so all of the Pride organizers throughout the world, they'll be marching for the first time because it's WorldPride, so that's kind of unique.
This year in particular, I think there's a political focus here, and we may be under attack, but we are resilient and we're not going anywhere.
Every year, I go to the start of the march and I look down the march route and I have that moment where I think about all of those kids that are looking down the street and feeling as though that they're a part of a community.
The first march happened in 1970, and it will happen for another 100 years until we achieve equality.